Hello, my little pretties. What is up? It's your mistress, the Queen of Lions or Shadow Lioness, and welcome back to another episode of Shadow Tales. This is episode 3. The last episode we did was Cinderella. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to be telling you all a story of Little Red Riding Hood by the Brothers Grimm. You probably all know very well. So, with that being the case, let's begin. Once upon a time, in the middle of a thick forest stood a small cottage, the home of a pretty little girl who known everyone as Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mom waved her goodbye at the garden gate, saying, "Grandma is ill, sweetie. Take her basket of cakes, but be careful. Stay on the path through the woods and don't ever stop. That way no harm will come to you," said her mother. Little Red Riding Hood kissed her mother and then said, "Don't worry," she said. "I'll run all the way to Grandma's house without stopping." With a good of full intentions, Little Red Riding Hood made her way through the woods, but she was soon to forget her mother's wise words. "Oh, strawberries and berries! They're so red and lovely. These will be perfect for Grandma." Laying her basket on the ground, Little Red Riding Hood bent over and saw the strawberry plants. "They're nice and ripe and so big and yummy and delicious. Just another one and one more, and this the last. Really delicious." The red fruit peeped over invitingly through the leaves as a grassy glade. Little Red Riding Hood ran back and forth, popping strawberries in her mouth. But she then remembered what her mother had promised, Grandma and the basket, so she hurried back towards the path. The basket was still in the grass and humming to herself. Little Red Riding Hood then walked on. However, as the woods became thicker and thicker, a yellow butterfly fluttered down the trees, so catching Little Red Riding Hood's attention, she started to chase the butterfly. "Oh, wait for me, Miss Butterfly," she called. She suddenly saw some large daisies in the grass. "Oh, how sweet," she exclaimed. "I think I'll pick a bunch of flowers for Grandma as well." In the meantime, two wicked eyes were spying on her from behind a tree. The strange rustling in the woods made Little Red Riding Hood's heart jump. "Oh, I'm quite afraid," she said to herself. "I must find the path and run from here." At least she reached the path again, but her heart leapt into her mouth when the sound of a gruff voice which said, "Well, where you going, pretty little girl? All alone in the woods?" "I'm taking Grandma some cakes. She lives at the end of the path," said Little Red Riding Hood in a faint voice. When he heard this, the wolf, or the big bad wolf, politely asked, "Does Grandma live by herself?" "Oh, yes," replied the Little Red Riding Hood. "She never opens the door to strangers." "Well, perhaps we'll meet again," the Red Wolf said. "Tell your grandmother that I hope she feels better." Then he looped away, thinking to himself, "I'll eat the grandmother up, but I'll lock her in the closet, and then I will lie in wait for the grandchild. Then I'll feast on the two of them. Ha ha ha." At last, when the cottage came to the sight, as the wolf ran over, he then knocked on the door. "Who's there?" said a grandmother from her bed in the cottage. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you some cakes because you're ill," replied the wolf, trying so hard to make hide his gruff voice. "Lift the latch and come in," the grandma said, unaware of anything had missed. Still a horrible shadow appeared on the wall. Poor grandmother, with one bound, the wolf leapt across the room, and he grabbed the grandmother and stuffed her in the closet. He then dressed up to pretend to be the grandma, so he can gobble up Little Red Riding Hood. It wasn't long until she tapped on the door. "Grandma, can I come in?" she called. Now the wolf had put on the old lady's shawl and cap just in time, and he had just slipped into the bed. Trying to imitate Grandma's quivering little voice, he replied, "Open the latch and come in." "What a deep voice you have, but okay," said the Little Red Riding Hood. She walked in. "Well, my dear," said the wolf, pretending to be the grandmother. "What smells good?" she said. Grandma, what big eyes you have, said Little Red Riding Hood. The better to see you with, my dear. And Grandma, what big ears you have, exclaimed Little Red Riding Hood, stepping over onto the bed. And the better to hear you with, my dear, the wolf said. Then the Little Red Riding Hood saw what was going on and saw the big teeth. Grandma, what big teeth you have, Little Red Riding Hood said in a weak voice. Oh, the better to eat you with, my dear, the wolf said, getting out of the bed. But of course, Little Red Riding Hood backed up against the wall. As the wolf was cornering Little Red Riding Hood, she shrieked and yelled for help. But it wasn't long until a hunter showed up, loaded his gun, and kicked open the door. He then pointed at the barrel at the side of the wolf, and the wolf looked. Get out, he said. Let Little Red Riding Hood go, the hunter said. Of course, the wolf ended up trying to run away, but it wasn't long because he didn't get far. As soon as he got away from the front lawn, the hunter to shoot the wolf. The wolf was soon dead, and he lay limp on the floor once he was shot. Of course, Little Red Riding Hood was crying, and she was trembling with fear, scared of what happened. So the hunter went over to what seemed to be the closet and opened it up. It was Grandmother wrapped in the shawl, scared that she was locked in the closet. You arrived just in time, murmured the old lady, quite overcome by the excitement. It's safe to go home now, the hunter told Little Red Riding Hood. The big bad wolf is dead and gone, and there's no danger on the path anymore. Still scared, the little girl hugged her grandmother. Oh, what a dreadful fright! Much later, as dusk was falling, Little Red Riding Hood's mother arrived, all out of breath, worried because her little girl had not come home. And when she saw Little Red Riding Hood safe and sound, she burst into tears of joy. After thanking the hunter again, Little Red Riding Hood and her mother set off towards the woods. As they walked quickly through the trees, the little girl told her mother, We must always stay on the path and don't wander off. That way we will be safe, Little Red Riding Hood said. I'm glad you listened, honey, said her mother, as the two of them continued down the path. Hope you all enjoyed this episode of Shadow Tales, my little pretties, and if you did, be sure to hit the like button. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. And don't forget to ring the notification bell for uploads that you will not miss, so that way you will get notified to my newest uploads. So, anyways, with that being the case, I will be catching you all in the next video. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.